After Mbeumo, United want to sign a striker, a central midfielder, and a goalkeeper. Three positions that I have been saying for so long is my top priority. You can check it out. In the top five targets, I mentioned a striker, I mentioned a central midfielder, and I mentioned a goalkeeper. And guess what Ineos are doing? We're signing exactly that. Now, first of all, we have goalkeeper. We're looking at two names I would take any day. Yes, I said Joan Garcia, but I never thought that these two were even in the market. Number one, Lucas Chevalier. If you never heard of Lucas Chevalier, he is at Lille. You know what? We just need a steady keeper. We can get that with Chevalier. Otherwise, a name that you definitely know, Donnarumma. Donnarumma, who at 16 or at 17, he was starting for AC Milan. Donnarumma, who's only 26. Donnarumma, who, if we can get him, will only cost 40 million. Maybe he might be for just a contract pay rise or whatever, but he's still an option. If we are looking at Donnarumma, you know what? That shows me United are trying to go places. Because if it's Martinez, if it's Chevalier, if it's Donnarumma, I can't argue. Striker now. We know the one target that we've been looking at so strongly is Victor Gyokeres. And according to Sky Sports, apparently we've opened up negotiations for Victor Gyokeres. Mbeumo is just around the corner. We have these deals just flowing through. Mbeumo, well, we've already agreed with him and he wants to come here. That's why even if Tottenham are coming with Thomas Frank and saying, you know what, he's my player, he's my ex-player, he's going to join us instead. We have Champions League football. It doesn't matter. Because once United come calling, once you have convinced a player, once they've already rejected Newcastle and they've rejected Arsenal, it doesn't matter if the manager, if his favorite player, if everybody is at Tottenham Hotspur, he's going to join United because we just have that pull. If there's nothing else in these last 2-3 weeks, we have shown everybody in England, in Spain, in Germany, in France, everywhere in the world that we still have pull. That if you were to talk about the biggest club in the world, that's United, hands down. Take it back all the way to 2016. We had finished 5th. We were in the Europa League. And people thought, you know what, they're not going to do anything. We bring in Mourinho for number one. We bring in Pogba. World record transfer fee, £89 million. We signed Ibrahimovic on a free. He could have gone anywhere in the world, but he came United. We signed Mkhitaryan, who was a star. We signed Eric Bailly from Villarreal. All this in a window where we won the Europa League. 2022. Again, another year we're in the Europa League. We get Erik ten Hag, first of all, as a manager. At that point, we did not know. In hindsight, obviously, it was a bad deal. But in that moment, that was the deal to do. And that was the manager everybody wanted. We got Erik ten Hag still. He had all these options, but still he came to United. And then we got Lisandro Martinez, who again could have gone Arsenal. But you know what? Once United come calling, it's just a matter of just saying yes. You cannot say no. And Lisandro Martinez signed. If you thought that was crazy, the next two deals were more insane. Casemiro, who I know for a fact, I've seen that Chelsea were looking at him strongly. And despite Chelsea being in a much better position than us, you know what? Casemiro signed for us. 70 million, 340,000, whatever. I'm telling you, Chelsea would have paid the same. But Casemiro ends up here. Anthony, yeah, we would have overpaid. But another player who did choose United at the end. And at that point, people were saying crazy things about Anthony, and he still joined us. Guys, we have the pull. And this season, Mbeumo and Cunha have already signed for us. Gyokeres might join. If we get Palhinha, good enough. If we can get Donnarumma as a keeper, if we're replacing Onana with Donnarumma, that's what I call an upgrade. And we are there. We're so close. All we need to do is just go pursue them. And add to all this the fact that we're still trying to sell Garnacho, the fact that we're still trying to sell Højlund, the fact we're trying to move on players that we need to be moving on. Victor Lindelof today just left on a free, by the way. Lindelof, who has been leeching off this club, who has contributed absolutely nothing since 2020. He's officially out. This is a sign of a club moving forward. This is a sign. Yeah, sure. I've heard of City signing Cherki and Ait Nouri. Amazing signings, by the way. Signings I would have taken at United. But for once, I can actually say, you know what? Even if Liverpool signed Wirtz, even if City signed Cherki or Reinders, I'm not worried because I'm looking at my own team and I'm seeing we've already signed Cunha. We've already signed Mbeumo. We might sign Gyokeres. Gyokeres is waiting for us now. If we go and sign either Chevalier or Donnarumma as a keeper, and now you go and get a midfielder who's of any semi-decent value, if we can add a second midfielder to that as well, I mean, what more do we want? And don't forget the fact we're going to sell Anthony, we're going to sell Sancho, we're going to sell Rashford, and we're going to sell Garnacho, and we're going to sell Hoyland and Onana. Like, if you had asked me, let's say even half a year ago or even 1 year ago, when would I see all these players leave? I would have said this would take you at least a good 5 years. Because you know what? There are different issues with different players. I would have said, this player is not leaving, that player is not leaving. And at the end of the day, we would have been stuck with them. But now we're seeing players are being moved on. And you know what? I sometimes think about this. With Kobe Mino, as much as I like him as a player, it really depends on the fee that we get for him, depending on do we sell him or no. Because let's hypothetically say that we get 100 million for him, pounds. He's an amazing player. And his clutch goals or whatever is going to be very difficult to replace, which is why I wouldn't sell him. But I can see a case for selling him for 100 million because you can get for easily around 60 or 70 million. You can get a talent, maybe not of Mino's level, but just below Mino's level, who can be coached to a higher level. And suddenly, you know what? You have magic and you've saved profit. And then you can go and spend that on more players, more quality deals in the market that would actually push us much higher. So what do you guys think? Who should we sign next? Comment your top 5 right below and see you on the next one.